Hello everybody, and welcome back to Certified Collectibles. This is another episode of First Appearance of the Week. This is Wednesday, January 10th, 2024. We'll be giving you all the first appearance in your comic shops today. Now this week we have another light video for you guys. I think we only have one first appearance, 3 honorable mentions, so only 4 titles on all to go through. Definitely some books in there worth considering for your collection. So let's go ahead and get started for the first appearance of the week ending January 12th, 2024. First up from DC Comics, Titans Beast World number 4. This features the first team appearance of the Bureau of Sovereignty. Now, like we always mention with these DC Comics, it really depends on what they do with the characters or the teams that are introducing in the comics as to how important these books are going to be in the future, how important these characters are going to be, and how popular they become with fans and collectors. If they bring these characters or these teams across other storylines or the story arcs into other mainstay title series or into a small screen, big screen project, that definitely gets a lot more eyes on these characters and definitely gives them a chance going forward. You know, if DC really doesn't do anything with this team or these characters are introducing, this probably will go nowhere. So we always say with these DC Comics, it's probably worth picking up the spec on for the cover price because you don't want to chase them down years later for a lot more money. That being said though, you are speccing on DC doing something with these books to make these characters or these teams important in the future. So this one here is definitely going to be a spec bet if you choose to pick it up. Like I said, maybe worth doing something for the cover price. Grab it if you can for a spec. Otherwise, put in your B-list. We do think you have some time on this one. And now for the honorable mentions. From Blood Moon Comics, Distemper number 1. In a post-apocalyptic world where man's best friend has caused the death of 90% of humanity, a group of survivors finds themselves dragged into a struggle against a family of deadly adversaries. Like we always mention with these small press and indie publishers, if these titles get picked up an option for small screen, big screen projects, that's a huge price driver for these books, and they do take off in the secondary market. So whenever there's a story like this that sounds like it can lend itself very well to a TV show, streaming series, or feature film, we do recommend picking these up for a spec. And this story here does sound like it's easily translatable to the screen. Blood Moon Comics hasn't really had a lot of their titles picked up an option in the past, but that's no indication of future performance. Hollywood is definitely trying to farm these small press and indie publishers for ideas, so you really don't know who they're going to pick up and what title they're going to pick up next. So in our opinion, this one here is a great spec. Grab this one here for a spec if you can. If you can't, then put in your B-list and take a look at it later on. Next up from Dynamite, Disney Villains Cruella de Vil number 1. Now this here is the premiere issue of this new title series. Now, we typically don't recommend Dynamite comics for an investment for the future. Dynamite titles for some reason really don't appreciate like some of the other publishing houses like Marvel or DC, Boom, IDW. A lot of those publishers do appreciate a lot faster than Dynamite, but Dynamite has been releasing some titles over the past couple years that collectors are picking up and holding on to. This one here is a Disney title. This is Disney Villains, and Disney collectors love the Disney villains. And this here is Cruella de Vil, so we do think this one here is going to be sought after by Disney collectors. And comic collectors in general, and even fans of the superhero genre, do tend to gravitate toward the villains more often than the heroes. And this one here being a Disney villain title, and being Cruella de Vil number 1, this here is the premiere issue of this villain's title. We do think this one here does have some potential going forward. The Disney fan base and collector base is the largest collector base in the world. So this one here we do think is a good spec. Grab this one here at the cover price if you can. If you can't, put it on your B-list and take a look at it later on. And finally from Marvel Comics, Ultimate Spider-Man number 1. We put this one here on the list because this here is the premiere issue of this new title series. We always recommend picking up any Spider-Man title, whether it's a new title series or an established series. Anytime there's a first appearance of a new character or a premiere issue of one of these new series, we do recommend picking them up. Spider-Man is probably the most popular and most heavily collected character in the Marvel Universe, and typically anytime they release a new comic series, there's always some hidden gems in the premiere issue, so it's typically worth picking them up. Now, there are going to be a ton of variants for this issue. Like with any of the Marvel titles, any of the premiere issues of Marvel titles, they seem to release 100 variants. Don't overpay for the variant covers if you are a variant collector. Try to get them at the cover price. At the cover price, some of the variants do have potential going forward. We typically don't recommend them because a lot of stores do charge more for the variant covers, and a lot of the variant covers really don't perform well in the future. That's why we typically recommend picking up just the standard issue, because then you actually have the story, and if they do introduce a new character or a new superpower, a new suit, then you actually have the issue. With the variant covers, you are buying this illusion of exclusivity. Like I said, if you can pick them up for the cover price, might be worth getting some of these variants. Otherwise, stay away from them and just pick up the standard issue. We do recommend picking this one here up for your collection, so go ahead and grab this one. So there you have the 4 titles that we have for you guys this week. Very short week, but there's definitely a couple books in there worth picking up for your collection. So please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Certified Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.